Now, I'm gonna ask you guys in a moment to kind of start a petition with me down in the comments, and there's something that I'm hoping you guys can get behind with me, and if we get enough comments, maybe we can get VOSTEED to do it. But first, let's check this knife out. So we have the VOSTEED Nightshade. You guys have known this for a while, and now one of my favorite versions, the Bolster, this one with micarta and M390, we now have a bolster in titanium and ELMAX, 60 to 62 HRC. Very happy to see that, right where we want to see ELMAX, 60 to 62. So happy about that. Beautiful stonewash, the crown, spine. And if you don't know why this knife is so awesome, stay tuned. I'm going to talk about it, but you could go watch my full review and I explained it in great detail because this is a SHILLIN cutter, and I really never knew about SHILLIN cutters before I got one of these, and I didn't realize just how useful these knives are. These are extremely useful knives for just about everything, but we'll talk about that in a second. So we do have a titanium bolster. It's not a bolster lock. I'd love to see a bolster lock in the future, so it's all premium instead of, you know, basically budget liners with premium materials, you know, on the outside. But, you know, this definitely helps him keep the price down, which, you know, this is in a reasonable price considering all the materials. So then we have a titanium deep carry clip that's inset with flat screws. Lots of milling on the inside, great access to the lock bar. This is very smooth right out of the box. Super comfortable flipper tab. I love the flipper tab on these. Not only is it great for the light switch or push button, both of them equally as good. Like, you can really build up pressure on this, the way it's shaped and, you know, the jimping and everything. You can launch that sucker out. But it's also really good for, you know, the light switch. And then the reverse flick, you can pretty much see that hole is easy to get to. And before, we had a regular flipper version. Then they came out with the whole version without a flipper. Now we have a mixture. So it's the whole with a flipper, which I do appreciate. Now this one's gonna be slightly more comfortable because the flipper tab doesn't push you back. So, you know, if you're not into multiple forms of deployments, you can always get just the one with the hole or the one with the flipper. This one's discontinued, but you can get these two right here, and then now this one. I will have everything linked down in the description. Now, I really liked this micarta. I wish they'd bring this stuff back. This was a special one that they did, and it was limited, but man, oh man, is this beautiful micarta. It's polished so nicely. This is some of my favorite micarta. Please, VOSTEED, bring this back. So what is this petition I'm speaking about? So let's bring this up. So I really want them to do this in a large version. So this is a medium-sized knife, right? And we're still gonna get into why it's so awesome. But if we could get them to do a large version, not quite an XL, but like a 3.5 inch blade, 8 inches overall, you know, something like that, maybe even like 3.6. That would, think about it, man. This thing is so ergonomic already. If you made this handle slightly bigger in all dimensions, oh my goodness, this thing would be an absolute monster, you know, in use. So why is this thing so awesome? Oh yeah, by the way, let me know down in the comments, would you love to see that? Is that something you would get behind? If they did a large version of this, would you buy it? Is it something you want to see? I'd love to hear what you guys got to say. I'm sure they'll be reading the comments, so they'll see what you guys say. So yeah, I personally would be excited to see that. So what is so awesome about this knife? So it has a blade shape that's not hard to sharpen. It's just like sharpening any other drop point. However, because it leans forward and because the handle teardrops the way it does, it makes it to where it kind of leans forward, almost like a pistol, right? So now, one, you can poke at anything, right? Very easy to poke. Two, it traps material so you can do long distance cuts. If you do the reverse grip and you cut straps, look at it, it's facing towards me, so a rope can't slip out from you know, the belly, which is awesome. Granted, like I said, a non-flipper tab version is going to be a little bit more comfortable, but as far as, you know, being able to do it and it trapping materials, absolutely. Then you have this tip, because it does, you know, the shape it does, you have so much leverage into the tip. You can do precision utility cuts. It almost is like a Warncliffe recurve all in one. It's crazy. It is basically like that. It makes me think of like a sheep's foot style for utility cuts, then a recurve for trapping materials, yet a drop point for sharpening. Like, it's crazy how this knife is so good. Like I said, watch my full review. You will see. I show all that stuff in, while I'm doing it. But all in all, the one thing I wish they would have done a lefty version for people. It's not that big of a deal to me. I'm righty, but I know lefties would love to see it, especially when you talk about a knife that's very fidgety in the left hand, you know? I don't know how I feel about the JG10. I'm not a huge fan of JG10 anymore. Sometimes I think it looks really cool. I think it would have been even cooler to see something like this, like the Emerald G10 or something. But, you can Rit dye it. So that is one of the benefits. If you want to make it your own, style or whatever, you can Rit dye it very easily and make it whatever color you want. That is the beautiful thing about JG10, is the ability to make it whatever color you want. But like I said, I'd love to see it in this micarta. I wonder if I can switch these. I bet I could. Anyways, so there you guys go. Just a quick look at their new models. Like I said, everything will be linked down in the description. Work hard, stay tough. Society's relying on you. Until next time, peace.